Hey everybody, it is time once again for another Rahdo Q&A. And hello everybody, I'm about to answer a bunch of questions submitted by folks like you to the email address questions@rahdo.com. And by all means, folks, if anything I talk about or my wife talks about, because she sometimes shows up on these as well, prompts any further questions from you, well, you know what to do. Questions@rahdo.com is the email address. Keep them coming, folks. I want to hear your cues so I can AM. And speaking of which, let's get right to it. But, folks, I'm going to talk about several different topics today, and if any of them don't really strike your fancy, don't worry. There are links down in the show notes that let you jump around from question to question so you can listen to just the parts you're interested in. All right, sound good? Then let's go.
Are we down to Dieter? Oh, my gosh. Dieter? All right, okay, Dieter, I'm going to go quick. Dieter had 10 quick questions. 3 of them I'm going to do with Jen a little bit later. He's got 10 questions now where he's trying to make dilemmas for me. Question 1. Never play the board game, the games in my personal top 100, or never play all the board games outside of my personal top 100 again. Oh, that's easy. That has no dilemma. I will give up all of my top 100 to be able to play other games. To 100, amazing, best of all time, versus 2,000, also amazing, not best of all time, but still really amazing. Yeah, there's no choice about it. That's an easy one. Hopefully your second one is a dilemma. 2, never play board games solo again, or never play board games with 3 or more players. Oh, that is easy. Never play solo again. Ever, yeah. Because sometimes we play with Jen's family. It's nice playing games at the conventions. And I mean, solo, I'm not that big into solo gaming, really. I just do that really for the channel. 3, never use Board Game Geek again, or never use any other board game related site again. Oh, you've got to work on your dilemmas, buddy. I know you have some good dilemmas. I've already filmed the portion with Jen a little bit later. We had a big dilemma on those ones. You'll notice when we get to there, it's still daylight, and it's hasn't gotten pitch black outside. I'm not lit only by the lighting of the screen. Anyway, though, where was I? Oh, yeah. Oh, obviously, never use any other board game related site again. Board Game Geek does everything I need. Easy. Now, if you said YouTube is a board game site, then yeah, I'll take YouTube over Board Game Geek. 4, if you could only keep one of these 3 sets with board games, which would you keep? Oh, I love this. Set number 1, Trois, Roll for the Galaxy and Agricola. Set number 2, Nations, Dominion, Castles of Burgundy. Set number 3, Peloponnese, Keyflower, Gloomhaven. Wow. Okay, now I'm going to make it tougher for myself, because if you say it's only the games that I can't do the expansions, that makes it a lot easier. But if I can have all the expansions or the deluxe versions, like the Deluxe Burgundy, all the expansions of Dominion, versus Gloomhaven, plus Frosthaven, plus Jaws of the Lion, plus Keyflower with all its stuff, plus Peloponnese has a million expansions, or Trois versus Roll for the Galaxy versus Agricola. I'll be just going to be very happy, but I think I'm going to say no to Trois, Roll for the Galaxy, and Agricola. Because she loves Roll for the Galaxy so much. But, I mean, there's just not as much stuff there. Again, I'm saying I get to have the expansions, too. It's probably going to be set 2, with all of Dominion and all of the Castles of Burgundy deluxe set, and Nations has a bunch of really good stuff, too. I think that's a pretty easy choice, just because I'll have more content. And plus, it's got Castles of Burgundy. 5, you can only keep 3, keep one of these 3 sets. Oh, with expansions. Oh, hey. So, okay, I got to go back to the other one, because you didn't say no expansions, but now you're saying no expansions. Okay, so I'm going to redo the previous one. Can't have expansions, just the base game of Roll for the Galaxy, Trois, Agricola, Nations, Dominion, Castle of Burgundy, Peloponnese, Keyflower, Gloomhaven. Oh, I think it becomes pretty easy. I'll go with set 1. Agricola, especially if it's the new Deluxe Agricola, or, with the big box, plus Roll for the Galaxy, plus Trois. I think that's the one. It's hard to say no to Castles of Burgundy, though. That super deluxe set is so amazing. But, it's still going to be set 1 or 2. Sorry, Peloponnese, Keyflower, and Gloomhaven. I've played so much Gloomhaven, I'm kind of burned out on fighting stuff. I'd rather build stuff. It might still be set 2. I think it's still going to be set 2, because that deluxe Castle of Burgundy is so amazing. Alrighty, so now, if I could only keep one of these 3 sets with the expansions, which should I keep? Oh, okay. So, you're still completely on the expansions. Farmers of the Moor. Really, you're evaluating Farmers of the Moor, Ladies of Trois, or Arts and Architecture. Oh, that's easy. Arts and Architecture. I'll do this one for Jen, because she loves half the game is all about the arts. And Ladies of Trois did not need Ladies of Trois at all. And Farmers of, honestly, Art Agricola doesn't need Farmers of the Moor either. Alrighty. So I'm going to go with Arts and Architecture. Oh, wait, no, but no, I'm comparing the sets. Okay, so that's one set, not the three within the set. German railroads to expand Russian railroads, Tuscany to expand viticulture dynasties. Okay, this one instantly lose because you chose the wrong one. If you had chose viticulture world, set 2 would have won. So I'm going to call it audible and say you really meant viticulture world, in which case set 2 wins because viticulture world is so amazing. But since you didn't, set 2 automatically loses. Number 3, key flower merchants, Concordia, Salsa, and Pandemic on the Brink. Oh, bringing Pandemic in and On the Brink is great. Most people don't like it, but we really like the hidden movement mode in that. So it's really the On the Brink versus arts and architecture. Wow. Jen said what? I'm saying wow to myself. That's a tough choice. You've got a really good one there, Dieter. I am going to go with number 1 still, because it means I get to play. It means, no, but Trois is the weakest of all of these. No, I'm going to go with number 3, because Pandemic plus On the Brink is chef's kiss. Okay. 6, if you only play one board game from one of these sets of designers, which would you choose? Play board games from one of these sets. Feld, Isla Svensson, Ryan Lockett, Pfister, Javier George, Jimmy Stegmeyer, Danny Garcia, Simone Luciani, Vladimir Suk. That is monstrous, Dieter. Wow. You could have made it easier by putting Pfister and Feld together. And that's no shakes on Lockett and Svensson. That's no shakes. Oh my gosh, that is perfect. He Warburg, because you didn't put Uwe Rosenberg. You probably know that he has dropped in my estimations recently over the last few years. Wow. Danny Garcia is too new. It's just too new. So I can't go with him. Vladimir Suji, though. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to stick with Feld. I'm going to stick with Feld. And it doesn't matter. It's Feld plus whoever you put in with Feld. Because Isla Svensson and Ryan Lockett are amazing. You would have had to put some actively bad designers there. Or not bad designers. And you'd said Seven Feld and Bruno Cathala, who's a brilliant designer, but inevitably I can't stand his designs. That might have done it. But no, it's going to be in set 1. Number 7, which of these games would you be most interested in? A Legacy Castles of Burgundy, Gloomhaven the card game, or Pandemic the Roll and Write? Oh, that is good. That is perfect again. Here's the deal. I feel like I played Gloomhaven the card game. I card it. I still have it. I can't think of the name of it, but I have played that game. So I am, and it was great. Oh, it was great. But at the end of the day, I would rather fight for something than fight against something. So I would take Pandemic over the Roll and Write over Gloomhaven the card game. So then it's Pandemic Roll and Write versus Castles of Burgundy, the Legacy game. You know what? If you'd asked me this a couple of years ago, I would have said Castles of Burgundy Legacy game, but I'm going to say Pandemic the Roll and Write. And that is because, honestly, we're one game away from finishing Ticket to Ride Legacy games, and I was so disappointed by that. I'm kind of burned out on them. So I'm going to say Pandemic the Roll and Write. Wow. That was a good one. That was a great one. And finally, got a couple questions from Daniel. 1, are there any mechanisms that are outdated, in my opinion? What are my bottom 3 mechanisms? I think I've answered that. I've answered bottom 3 mechanisms before. It's going to be any kind of, whatever kind of take that, player stealing, anything like that. But it's kind of hard for me to say that. I mean, I had this question before. And I said, almost any mechanism can be rehabilitated. There's no bad mechanism. It's just bad implementations. I mean, I've played amazing games that are roll and move. I've played amazing games that have roll to resolve. Those are kind of outdated and antiquated. It is harder to make a good game out of those, but they can be done. So is there anything outdated? All I can pick is one. I would say it is really No, roll to resolve can be good too, if it's done right. I'm going to say there's no such thing as an outdated mechanism. That's just a mechanism waiting to be crack the code and make it good. 2, opposite. Are there any mechanisms that should always be used? For Daniel, he says no misses on dice. And I assume by what you mean by that, and I like it a lot, is that there's no bad results. That no matter what, when you roll, hey, maybe I didn't get what I wanted, but I can do something. Like Castles of Burgundy is the perfect example. I didn't get what I wanted, but I can always use these dice to get workers to manipulate stuff in the future. And that's a good rule. Any game that ever uses dice, they should follow your rule, Daniel. That's the Daniel rule. Any game that uses dice, there has to always be something useful out of any result. Because otherwise, drop the dice and replace them with cards, quite frankly. I like that a lot. Can I think of one as good as that? Oh, I've got one. Yeah, totally. If you ever have a progress track, scoring progress tracks, always there should be at least 3 people competing. And so if you're playing a 2-player or a solo, you have to come up with a system to fix that. One of the things that I hate more than anything else, Pandemic Legacy, or not Pandemic Legacy, Ticket to Ride Legacy had a terrible example of that, where, oh man, it's getting so dark, the camera won't focus on me anymore. There we go. Well, this is the last question though. It's terrible when, hey, I work really hard. I made 5,000 on a set collection or a progress track, whatever it is, and you did what? You got one of them. I got 50 of them. And so I get the top score of 20 points, and in a 2-play game, because you did one, you became second place, and you got 15 points, even though you never tried. That is the one that there are a few things that piss me off more in board gaming than a game doing that. It is unacceptable. So I would say there's one. Okay, folks, and that is it. I believe we're going to move on to some game questions with Jen, and then we'll get into the personal stuff where we will do an over hour-long epic update on how the road trip has been so far, which we've already recorded. Oh man, we just could not stop talking about all our adventures. But that's coming up in a little bit, right after this. Hang on.
Okay, folks, and we're back. Jen is with me now, as evidenced by the little picture of her right there. She, in real life, is just right over there, which isn't too far removed from the picture, I think.
No, I am totally laying on the couch, though, just chillin'.
Oh, I wish, folks, you could see. She is wearing a weird thing on her head that she says is for migraines, because it makes your head cold. Or cooler, some kind of head cooler thing that looks quite ridiculous, but it's very hot here.
It is totally ridiculous, but oh man, it feels so good. It's you stick it in the refrigerator, and then it's got like little gel packs in it, and then it's supposed to help with migraines. But I just thought, ooh, when I lamp work, it's nice to have.
You look fantastic, honey pie.
Oh, thanks.
Alrighty, well, we're going to continue with some. There's a few game questions that you might be able to opine on.
Okay.
Starting with one from Jeff, who says, I've noticed in recent months, years, a trend towards identifying shorter game length as a desirable feature. Has this been the case for some time? It seems more folks these days are interested in banging out a higher number of game plays in a shorter time period than delving into longer games. I'm concerned that people may miss out on really good games if game length is perceived as a liability. What do you think?
Gosh.
What do you think?
I am thinking that I think the world sort of took a break during COVID, and that we probably welcomed longer, more immersive experiences at that point. But I don't know. My perception is that I feel like things have sped back up again. And even though we have lots of free time to play games, especially on the road, I think, maybe it's a completion factor, that it's just nice to have the experience and be done, and then you can always play again if you want.
Right. Well, I put this one on for you because I was really, you don't have to really necessarily take a guess at the state of the industry. It was more just you yourself.
Oh.
How do you feel about long games? Or would you rather play 2 shorter games in the same length of time as one long game?
Generally, I think I would rather play one game twice or 2 games in the space of a longer one.
Don't care for that epic sense of satisfaction of completing a big old 2-3 hour long game?
I don't know. Sometimes we have a really good time when we're doing that. It's difficult. I guess it kind of
I mean, you had
harkens
a
back.
close to 5-hour game of Ark Nova
I
not too
know.
long ago.
Yeah, and
How was that?
that was super long.
Uh-huh.
But part of that was long because there were all the minutiae that had to be figured out, and we had to keep asking you and looking it up in the manual. And to me, that is the worst kind of long gameplay. I like a kind of game where you have you're building your engine, and then your engine starts working, and then it ticks along beautifully, and you get such satisfaction from that.
Well, then don't you want to keep that going once it's happening? You don't want to get out in an hour. You want to enjoy it for 2, don't you?
I don't know. I think that there's a certain rise and fall of engines. Or you've completed everything, like you've harvested everything you can from the world. So pretty soon your engine, no matter how wonderful it is, there's nothing left to harvest. So I think that there's just a finite amount of engine running time in most games.
Well, that's by choice, though. It's not the real world. There can be infinite resources. There can be infinite growth.
Okay.
So
Well,
it comes back to you personally. You would rather play a shorter game. What do you feel you're missing out on, or do you not feel you're missing out on anything by saying, 2.5, 3 hours? No, thanks, please. I'm going to play this hour and 10. I'm going to play this 70-minute game over here. Do you not mind? Do you not think you're missing anything important?
well, let's just say a lot of the times when we're playing a longer game, you are rushing the end, and I am enjoying my engine. So I guess that makes me feel like I always like my engine games to go a little longer, because you tend to do the minimum required to end the game. So in that instance, yes, I would like the game to go on longer. But there's been so many games that we've played where like I said, you've finished what your engine can do, and there's no
but
point
again,
in going on.
I mean, that's not a steadfast rule of board game design that it must be that way. Designers can make, your engine will run along beautifully for 5 hours, and then it'll start to taper off. I mean, it can be done any way you want. It's more, what do you want? And now it sounds like you're saying, no, I do want longer experiences because I don't give you long experiences because I keep trying to bum rush the end. So that seems inconsistent with what you said scant seconds ago, that you're looking for fewer games or play at more times in a given session. So what is it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Perhaps,
It's
Jeff,
all good.
perhaps I should have left this one in the non-game section. I thought Jen would have a stronger opinion. I thought she was going to come out and say, yeah, I just don't have the patience or the time for long games anymore. I thought it was going to be something like that. But it is not. So I will weigh in and say, yes, I would definitely say that to the broader, I don't know. Let's put this to the test, Jeff. Shall we? Let's go to the Board Game Geek and see what the lay of the land is, right? If I come over here and I say I would like an advanced search. Ooh, where is advanced search? Oh, it's over here, of course. Boop. D, advanced search. Come on, there it is, advanced search. And finally, show me 2019 to 2024. I don't care about expansions. And let's take a look at the best of the best according to the denizens of Board Game Geek. If we were to sort by date. All right. Well, it'd be really nice if I could. Oh, I think I can put time length on this anyway. But I'm just going to take a quick look. Ark Nova, #1 game for the last 4 years on Board Game Geek. That's a very long game, Jeff.
Wow.
That's a very long game. Dune Imperium, that's certainly shorter. Gloomhaven, that is longer. Eclipse is longer. Clank is surprisingly long. Wingspan's kind of medium length, as is Lost Ruins of Arnak. Great Western Trail, of course, is very long. Barrage is a big old beast. Crew is quick playing. Frosthaven is long. Marvel Champions, it's short if you keep it a lower player count. So, I mean, yeah, just off this very quick, off the top, again, this is obviously catering for the most diehard of board game fans, but I don't really see evidence of a huge fall off of, oh my gosh, the best games of the last 5 years are all 60 minutes and under. It seems like there's a good mix. So, I mean, I have to admit, Jeff, when I started out, I was inclined to agree with you that there's this big movement, but I don't know if it is true. Certainly, one of the most popular games of last year was Nucleum, right? That was certainly a long game. And, Mind Clash is still out there putting out super long games. Hold on a second. Let's just say only for 2023, right? 2023 to 2023, and look at the best of the best, according to Board Game Geek superfans. And if we do that, Hegemony is the #1 game. That's a big old beast of a game, as is Darwin's Journey. Now, interestingly, Earth is not. Earth's big selling point is that it has a big game feel in a very fast time frame. But then Age of Innovation is another big, long game. Then you got Deck Builder. Now White Castle is another one. So far we're kind of even, but if anything, skewing towards the bigger, heavier games, because Great Western Trail New Zealand is there. And then Sky Team, a quick one, and then Witcher Old World, a long one, and then Distilled, a quicker one, and then Nucleum, a longer one. Expeditions, I would say, is a medium-length one. Ticket to Ride Legacy starts out as small, but it certainly gets much bigger. Forest Shuffle is kind of medium. Yeah. Actually, Jeff, I think you and I are both falling prey to the what does it feel like, because what are we personally noticing as opposed to what's actually happening. And it looks like actually it's not. I think there's just kind of, if anything, maybe there's just a good, solid, even mix of different lengths. And if so, that's very healthy. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Then we move on to Dieter, who continues his never-ending questions. He had 7 for me, and now here's 3 more that I thought Jen might be able to handle. Honey Pie Dieter said, I'm going to try and put it to you and make you have to make tough choices. So,
oh, no.
Here's your choice, Honey Pie. Never play a new-to-you board game anymore. So only, for the rest of our lives, only play games we've already played. Or never get to play with an expansion of any sort. Only play the base game so you can keep playing new games. So this is kind of a variation on the what's more important, seeing new stuff or getting to revisit the old stuff. If you can never play a new game that you've never played before, or you can never add an expansion to an existing game.
Okay, I can never add an expansion.
That's what you would choose. You would say, to heck with you expansions, which is kind of a vote for, no, I want to keep going back to the things I love and see how they grow and change and evolve. Rather than doing that, you would rather say, no, I want to see completely new stuff.
Yep.
That's a big surprise to me. Do you recognize how huge a change that is from you 5 years ago?
Yeah, I guess I do.
What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
I guess I have swapped over to your Cult of the New.
Why would you say that is? And how do you feel about that?
Speak into the microphone.
Yes, that is what we're here to do. Speak into microphones.
I feel like you're interviewing me. Well, yeah, I mean, I used to want to play the same games and get better at them. And now it seems I don't.
You have any thoughts as to why?
I think maybe you've just retrained me. It's been, well, we've been in this country for 6 or 7 years now. And before that, even in Malta, we didn't play repeat games as much.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we've played any repeat games since we've moved here. We haven't broken out Agricola.
Other than with expansions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've just changed, over 7 years, you've changed my habits. Yeah, I think so.
Just given enough time and enough exposure, you will convert from I like the things I already know to the I want new, exciting new things, and I don't care about the things I already know.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Okay. Then I guess I brainwashed her, Dieter, because that would have been my response too. But that would have been my response 7 years ago as well. Given my choices, I will always chase after the new and novel. And I mean, I love an expansion that gives me an opportunity to go back and visit something I like. I mean, that's great. But if I had to choose one, no, I'd rather continue to have completely new things. That's not to say that expansions can't. I mean, we've played expansions recently that turn competitive games into cooperative games. That's awesome. But still, would I rather say, oh, now I can play Viticulture as a co-op game? Or would I rather have a completely new co-op game that's unlike anything I've played before? Probably the latter. I would rather... Yeah, I think so. Yep. Okay. 2, never play a cooperative game or never play a competitive game. For the rest of your life, you can only play competitives or co-ops.
Well, it's going to be only competitive ones then, because that's the vast majority of the games out there. So I wouldn't want to cut off 90%.
These days, there are more than enough co-ops
I don't
to
think
keep
so.
us going.
I don't think so. Not good co-ops.
Not good co-ops, huh? Let's put that to the test. All right, let's come back to the Board Game Geek.
Okay.
And let's go back to the advanced search. And I really should have logged into Boardgame Geek before I started all this. Hold on a second, folks. Okay, ads are gone. Doing this search again. Again, 2023, 20 to 23, games of 2023. Turn off expansions, but limit it to games that rate at least a 7 out of 10 with, let's say, at least 20 people rating them, right? So we're kind of not just looking at everything that ever existed, right? Okay, and here we go. So there are 8 times 50 pages. So 8 pages times 50, or we can just say 8. Yeah, 400 highly rated games that came out in 2023.
Okay.
That's all games. But now we're going to go back.
You mean that's the best 400 of everything that came out?
Yeah. I mean,
Or is there maybe 400?
I mean, again, things that rate at least 7, and 7 is
Okay.
pretty high on Boardgame Geek.
Gotcha.
Because of the way they do average and stuff like that. Now we're going to have that same thing, keep it limited to 7s, but with the stop! What are you doing? Why did that happen? But with the extra caveat of only co-op games, right? Okay, so it's co-op games rated at least a 7 by at least 20 or 30 people. And in 2023, there were 2 pages. So that is 25% of all the top tier games of last year are cooperative. So that's a pretty decent number.
How many of those have we played?
I don't know. Not very many. I mean, how many have we played of the 8 of the 400? I mean,
Well,
1, 2, 3. Well, how many have we played versus how many we want to play? There's a bunch I want to play that I haven't gotten a chance to play. I would say we probably played 1 out of every 10 of these. No, probably more like 1 out of every 20. And there's a bunch. I mean, I really want to play, Disney animated, and I really want to spend more time with the art project, and never got a chance to play Marvel Dagger. Did play Fuse, Countdown, and so on and so on. So anyway, this was actually a test for me too, because I also have to answer Dieter's questions. And yeah, I'm just looking through this list, and there's a lot of games I would like to play. So, that I haven't gotten a chance to yet. I mean, you can see, heck, just the ones that are wish lists. I haven't gotten to play Earthworm Rangers, or Unmatched Adventures, or Sail, or Daybreak, or Skytear Horde, or Lord of the Rings, the Adventure Book game, or Siberian, or Tales of the Red Dragon Inn, or Tesseract, or Disney Animated. There's so many of them. Jeez Louise. So, with that in mind, your initial way to limit it, Honey Pie, I don't think is necessarily valid. There are plenty of new co-op games coming out all the time.
yeah, but it's 25%.
Yeah, well, and it's more than we would ever play. More games that are co-op only came out than we played. That's true, because we play probably around 200 new games a year. And so it was 2 pages, so there was about 100. So, you having a problem with that going to?
Yeah, but you just got to wiggle it.
You just have to pull it more high. There you go.
Okay.
Sorry, folks. Jen is trying to keep the sun away off of her cool, frigid head. And that's not good enough. She has to blot out the sun with everything she can. Anyway, so with that in mind, I prefer cooperative experiences to competitive experiences, just straight up, across the board. So, given my druthers, I would rather play more cooperative games, so I'm going to choose cooperative.
So this actually works out perfectly, because then I get all of the non-cooperative games and you get all the cooperatives, and then we get to play everything.
No, I don't think that works. I don't think that is within the spirit of Dieter's question. So, basically, you would forgo playing cooperative games for the rest of your life and only play competitive games.
Well, I guess because most of the competitive games we play are really, what are they called? Solo?
Multiplayer solitaire.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, and I'm the opposite. So there we go with that. And then number 3, would you rather keep your complete collection that you currently have, but never keep a new game from now on, or sell your entire collection that we currently have, but you can keep new games moving forward? Now, that one, I don't think that's your strongest one, because, keeping is not really as interesting a metric to us, because as previously discussed in your first one of these 3, we generally don't go back and play games over and over again. I mean, keeping games is just not that big a deal because we're constantly playing new stuff anyway.
Yeah, but he's saying that you either get to keep everything you've got now and not play anything new, or not get to play anything you have.
It's a case of ownership.
Yeah.
Are you fine never owning? I mean, but do we care?
Yeah,
do you care about what games we own?
Yes, because we already honed them down to our favorites.
Yeah, but there'll be more favorites that come in the future. I mean, games are always getting better. So you're saying you would rather just own the 400 or so games we have now and can never own another one?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I already know I love all 400 of those.
Yeah. I guarantee you there are 400 games you will love that we don't own that are available to get right now. I guarantee it.
How is that possible?
Well, because a bunch of them we've already played, but they're not going to come out until 2024 or 2025. But we played them when we were previewing them on Kickstarter, and we loved them just as much. So, yeah. And so it really is a question of, I mean...
That's 400 birds in the hand.
Yeah.
It does make it easier to move house, though.
Sure.
If you don't have 400 birds in the hand.
Yeah. But again, I mean, the fact that we own a bunch of games doesn't really matter to us because we never play the games we own, period.
Yes, but at some point...
What I have to do is, to answer this question in a meaningful way, I have to hypothesize a point in the future where we are no longer, doing Rahdo runs through on the regular, and therefore not constantly getting deluged with new games. And we are playing the games we already own over and over again. I.e., we are normal people. And we're not constantly just getting new games just showing up at our door all the time. But new games, we have to buy them, so it's a bigger deal. Under those circumstances, yeah, I think I'd rather keep what I already have. Probably, I think, or would I?
I don't know. You like the cult of the new.
Yeah, it's just that's the thing. Ever since I started basically giving away games, I charge shipping and handling to the Dice Tower West library. I've just been getting rid of games left and right that, 5 years ago, I love this game too much. And now I'm like, whatever. There are so many games. And there are going to be so many games next year. And there are going to be so many games after that I love that I don't need to play any of my beloved games ever again. Because, not that I don't want to play more Pandemic or Twa or Gloomhaven or whatever, but I know there's going to be amazing games coming that I'm going to enjoy, just as much. And do I want to deny myself those new experiences so I can hold on to those old experiences? Now, your point is owning means, I think owning, just the fundamental reality, because we do not hang out at, a place where we do local board game meetups, and we don't hang out with other gamers, so we're not, and we don't go to conventions that often, so we're not getting alternative options to playing games. Yeah, that's really tough. I don't know. I'll let you go back again, though, as you crinkle your thing on your head right over your microphone so everybody can listen to it nice and loud.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, dear.
I'm sure they didn't hear a thing. Don't worry about it.
I was just switching it to the cool side again.
Ah, yes.
Because my brain is warmed up.
Yes, no doubt, dude. Peter's brain
I didn't realize
twisters.
it had quite the... Does everybody want to see this? It's like a gnome hat.
All right, Jen's coming on. For folks who are watching instead of listening, this is Jen's silly gnome hat. That is cool to the touch.
Yep. It's got like these little...
And I apologize since I know most people are listening to this because it is a podcast and they can't see.
It looks like a gnome hat.
Yes, it looks like a purple gnome hat that is very cold.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick this in the freezer.
All right, but anyway, we've really got off topic here. So what was your answer? You would rather own what you already have and never get to own a new game?
I thought you'd want to go back and play our favorites at some point.
I'm really struggling with this because I genuinely kind of don't care. I'm fine. I'm fine either way. It doesn't matter to me. They're all just games. They're all just things. I don't really have, as a general rule, a strong, I must hold on to my precious things. They're just things to me. I don't particularly care. It's tough to answer, what am I going to save in a fire? I don't know. I don't particularly care. If they all burn up, it's fine. I'll just get new ones. And there'll be new games that replace the old games. In part because we never go back and play the old ones anyway. But I think I'd be that way regardless. I think I would be. The benefit of holding on to the old games is, it's a money-saving thing. because being able to own new things means having to pay money to own them. But again, not for me, because I get my games for free. But if I had to pay for them, I suppose that would definitely be a consideration.
Yeah.
I mean, that consideration is why I started doing Rahdo Runs Through in the first place, when I originally retired from video game development. And I realized, I can't keep getting games. Well, maybe I should do a YouTube channel, so they'll send me games. And it turns out that worked out.
Yeah, that was a great idea.
Yeah, it worked out just fine. I don't know. So I'm sorry, what was your final answer on this?
I don't even remember now.
The question is, would you rather keep your collection as we currently have it, and no longer be able to own future games, or get rid of can't own any of the games we own right now, but we would be able to own games that we discover in the future?
Well, I was thinking I wanted to keep the ones that we have because we know that we like them.
The ones that we have.
We've already culled. We've got the best of the best.
Yeah, but okay. I am just gonna, hold on. I'm gonna quickly go to your top 10 list for this year. Half of your top 10 list we can't own because they're games that haven't come out yet, right? Like Tether or Raising Robots. We don't own it. We could potentially own it in the future, right? All right. So these ones we do own, but actually, no. I just need to look at the last few months for things like that Navoria game, right? With the really cute animals, and Jen can never remember anything unless I physically show it to her, and she's way over there, so that's not going to work. Shoot. I mean, there are so many games that you love that we've played, but that we don't own yet. That you would like that Aqua game. When we played with Drake. It's too hard.
You have to tell me which Aqua game played with Drake.
The game is called Aqua. It was a tile laying game. The cute animals. You laid down the lower level tiles that were small fish, and then that meant you got to put the big fish on top. We played it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. You just don't remember unless I physically show it to you, and I'm not going to do that right now.
Yep.
Because I'd have to do a whole different setup and all of that. So, all right. Anyway, your answer is you would keep the old stuff.
Yep.
All right. I think my answer is I would jettison the old stuff because I just don't like being weighed down by having a lot of possessions. And, it's just, wipe the slate clean and get new stuff in the future. I think that's the way I would go. And that's it, folks. We are done with games. And
that was a very laborious.
Those were very difficult. But hang on, and we'll be right back with some personal questions and answers now, including more updates from our adventures on the road. We'll be right back, everybody. And that will be the end of this session of the Rahdo Q&A. Thank you, folks, for watching and also for submitting your questions. Send me more to the email address questions@rahdo.com, and I'll get you covered in a future episode. And in the meantime, if you would like to hear some more, you're in luck. I have been doing the Rahdo Talks Through audio podcast for years now with my wife, Jen, and we have got hundreds of hours for you to enjoy. You can hit that big box that's on screen right now if you want to dive deep. Also, you can go on ahead and subscribe so you won't miss the next Rahdo Q&A. And thank you, folks, for watching, for listening. Have a very, very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.